How's it going, everyone? It's Liam Carrison here as we react to another episode of The Sandman, as we're on episode number 6, as we are, I guess, teetering around the halfway stage for this first season, which has just been phenomenal. I've really loved the storytelling. It's just been very immersive, and it's going to be great to see where we go from here because of the fact that we know Morpheus has all of his tools back after spending this first half trying to acquire everything, and of course we had quite a grueling episode last time around. I was glad to know that in the comics it's a bit more ruthless. I think I'm underselling the bit more part, but yeah, it was a pretty ruthless but well done episode in my opinion, especially the focus around John and of course him being removed from the ruby, but just seeing the effect he had on everyone was just chilling. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this episode. So with that said, let's get into episode number 6 of The Sandman Season 1. Let's go.
Heads up! Sorry, man.
Those reflexes, though! Didn't even flinch!
Thank you.
Nice.
Franklin. Come on, Franklin. What are you waiting for?
Just checking her out.
So sure that once I got everything back, I'd feel good. But in some ways, I feel worse than when I started. I feel like...
just empty.
nothing.
Fuck. I mean, it's just very interesting of an insight for him to just feel empty now that his quest's done.
How have you been keeping? Aww, I'm well, Dream. Thanks for asking.
He saunters.
How are you, my sister? How have you been keeping?
What a dick.
I'm worried about my brother. And
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord is one.
Oh man. This is going to be one of those fascinating episodes, isn't it?
So, I'm dead. Now what?
how can you find out, Harry?
This is so... Hui.
When I was captured, it wasn't me they were looking for.
Yes, I remember. I remember that they were so wanting for death.
I know.
Which they kind of got in the end.
Sam! Come on, hon.
I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of making me emotional, like just with the aspect of death itself and
Sam!
But you continued.
I thought about giving up. Walking out.
can't blame her. I don't think like anyone
This was a
watching
long
this
time ago, long before this
would
world.
want her position.
What we need is a kind word and a friendly face,
Oh.
like they had in the beginning.
Hello. Hello, baby girl.
That's really, really deep and powerful. Jeez, this episode.
All right, sweetie.
Oh,
Lunchtime.
oh,
We can go.
oh,
Do
oh.
some eating. Then maybe another nap. Mummy's sick.
Circumstance.
Holy shit.
Of us stands alone. The sunless lands are far away and the journey is hard.
Shit.
Most of us will be glad for the company of a friend.
Wow.
Come with me, Franklin. I need to show you something.
Oh. Because
See you, Dream.
obviously he doesn't realise that he's...
Don't be a stranger, okay?
You think he survived, but... Something so sudden like that, oh...
I don't know that. I might get lucky. There's always a first time. There's so much to do. There's so many things to see.
Yeah, it's so easy. You know what, Dev? I'm not dying. You're not taking me. I'm staying here until the end of time.
An eternity of this.
You could find out.
How?
I could grant him his wish.
Do that. Let us meet here again, Robert Gatling. In this Tavern of the White Horse. In 100 years.
And this goes back to his appointments. Talked about in the present day.
100 years' time. On this day.
Kind of ludicrous, right?
I will see you in the year. It beats the hell out of rotting to maggots in the ground, eh?
So this is the thing, though.
So
Like
you
he
still want to live.
Oh, yes.
100 years then.
see you in a century. So like he could go.
Who you are?
He could go to war, get shot, survive.
Stuff for that boon.
Who is he?
His name's Will Shaxford. Acts a bit, wrote a play.
Is he
Wait,
good?
No, it's crap.
Wait.
That chap next to him,
wait.
with the broken leg.
And let us talk.
I'm just gonna give you a few ideas. Holy shit!
Sir, do you still want the lamp, sir?
100 years?
Every second of the last 80 years. Every bloody second, you know that?
He made that mention of if the, I
So do you still
imagine
wish to live?
this is what heaven would be like. This is what hell is like for him.
Are you crazy? Death is a mug's game. I've got so much to live for.
Strong resolve.
It's a poor thing for one man to enslave another.
It's just how it's done.
I suggest you find
Yeah.
yourself a different line of business.
Yeah,
Robert
yeah,
Gatling.
that's not the attitude to have.
You're giving me advice. After 400 years, what happened to live your life as you choose?
The choice is yours.
Yeah, you can
Would you
choose to be
take
an
that choice
asshole.
away from others.
They'll slit yours. They tell of a tale in these London parts.
Clara
The
Oswald
devil and the
Oswald,
wandering
right?
Jew meet once every century in a tavern. 2 years passed, sewn into the shirt of a dead man. I found this.
Is that meant to be me?
Uh,
I look terrible. You look worse.
You return to this pub
It's
every
the nose,
100
isn't it?
years. I'm sorry.
What did you do to her?
She has old ghosts that I have shown to her.
bit rash, but oh, it helps de-escalate the situation. Oi.
You need not have come to my defense.
Clearly.
But you gave him a
Still, I
gift.
didn't want to be drinking alone here in 100 years' time.
You dare.
No, look, I'm not saying...
Didn't mean offended.
Dare
Oh no.
suggest one such as I might need your companionship.
Oh. Oh no.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Then I shall take my leave of you and prove you wrong.
Oh.
There's going to be a revolution of the show.
When they can make more adults
It's a shame it's not 1999. Like they would have been raving about Y2K.
Mind if I...
I'm actually waiting for someone.
I think he's going to be disappointed, isn't he?
This place has been sold to make room for new flats. The borough council are trying to stop them, but if you've got enough money in this country, you can do whatever you bloody want. Pour you another one? While you wait?
It's kind of like traditions breaking.
You're late.
It seems I owe you an apology. I've always had it impolite to keep one's friends waiting.
Don't mind a little bit of a late, like in terms of this 100-year deal, it's kind of like 10 minutes late, right? That's how it works.
My brother has found a way out of his cage. My plan has failed. But don't worry. I have a new one.
Good to know. Good to know. I'm sure it's not going to be anything too bad whatsoever. Okay, I'm definitely going to say this. I mean, especially with, like, I've been in awe with this entire series. It's just been phenomenal. And I know a lot of people were raving on about it in terms of how great it was. And obviously, I didn't have the time when it, initially came out to watch it. And now I'm being blessed with this opportunity. I mean, these episodes just don't miss. Because I definitely feel like this was my favorite episode. It was very impactful, especially with the concept of death. And, I really love how it was split into two kind of stories, all in kind of relation to one theme, really. But fucking... That was probably my favorite episode, just with how moving it, like, especially in the beginning, how moving it was, how emotional it was. And I'm gonna go into a bit about it anyways, but the second part was just really great as well. Like, not just in terms of how it relates to death, or the lack of, really, but also in terms of Dream's Dream's perspective as well, and that loneliness, really, and how he seemed offended by how he was told, I think you're lonely yourself. And yeah, like, you could just call, like, you've got enough you've got enough conviction to believe that I'm not gonna die. So you keep coming here, and I think it's that loneliness. And in the end, I guess it really is. There's a fascinating aura, especially, like, if you go on so long proving him wrong, proving Morpheus wrong about the idea of, okay, like, he betted that he's gonna die. He'll want death, like, a century, maybe two. And there is this fascination. And it's just really, really great stuff. Like I said, though, that was probably my favourite episode of The Sandman so far. I think just delving into that human nature of death, and just the idea of it was just really, really brilliantly told in terms of, from the perspective of death herself. And from what we saw with Gatling as well. I was really, really wondering where we were going for the first 5 to 10 minutes in regards to who this sibling was, because obviously with Dream he has several siblings, and we saw the face of the person that Roderick Burgess was wanting to capture. So as well as the fact that they're, like, especially with what Dream had to say in regards to not wanting their feeling a bit betrayed by them earlier in, episode 2, I think it was. There seems to be this kind of calm, nice relationship with Dream and Death. Especially in regards to the fact that he said he didn't want to feel like helpless, etc. And there is that kind of I feel like this episode really peeled on a few, I guess in terms of how Dream usually wants to depict himself, there's a few vulnerabilities that kind of open up for Dream himself in this episode, like in terms of how he approached Dream and how he didn't want to be made, I guess, weak in her eyes. And in terms of what Gatling had to say in regards to I think you might be a bit lonely in reality, to be fair. And yeah, it was see, it can be very, very lonely, especially in the eyes of immortality. Like you saw how Gadling went through every century and how things progressed in terms of the times, and I find it a very, very interesting concept, like because I always believe that immortality, as much as you'd think it's something that is glorious and all of that, it is a curse at the end of the day. And I think we saw that with how in one century Gatling was thriving, he had a family. Next century he was hitting rock bottom. Of course he did pick things up a bit, but it's the matter of seeing, like, you have to be in a very, very secluded life, really, because otherwise you're just going to keep losing. There's going to be a point where you're just going to be empty, really. And yeah, because you're going to make all of these companions, you're going to make all of these friends, you're going to make all of these relationships, and they are going to flee on. They're going to perish, whereas you're just going to be stuck behind, moving. And to be fair, it is a very, very lonely prospect. But at the same time, it's also fascinating as well to see how, let's see how this century pans out, because there is a big jump between 1889 and 1989, of course. But not just that, though, but from prior centuries as well, you get to see how things progress in terms of humanity. And I really loved how you had Dream and Gadling's relationship play out, because of the fact that he was trying to give him a good education as well, in terms of, this, like, you've got a choice, but the ideas that you have at the minute are not promising whatsoever. Like, of course, he was talking about slavery in that one instant, and you had Dream basically tell him, I don't like I don't like this mindset, so I'm going to give you friendly advice. You don't have to take it, but if I were you, do this. So, yeah. But you see, and even in 1989, you had Gadling, especially after the little spit that Dream and Gadling had, you see Gadling just be very, very apologetic, because he was like, I'm going to see you in 100 years' time, and then I'm going to be proven right. And then he feels like, oh, shit, I really feel like I fucked up 100 years ago. And in all honesty, I don't know if Dream would have said, yeah, sorry about the late, some dickhead imprisoned me, basically. But obviously he wasn't to know that in reality, Dream was locked away. And I feel like he would have he still would have met with. I mean, he could have turned the other way because it wasn't their appointment, was it? In terms of every 100 years, he could have turned away and gone back, or gone to focus on his next objective, really. But there is that company there. There is that intrigue with Gadling, and yeah. And it's the same in general in terms of, he's got enough validation that Gadling's not wanting to kick the bucket anytime soon, so he could just stop and just take the L, I guess, in terms of, I was wrong, so yeah. But there is that, we saw how empty Dream was at the beginning of this episode, but I feel like this episode was more so of an education for himself as well as like other people as well, like especially Gadling. But this was a bit of an education, really, because he found out what really his purpose is, and that the whole in his heart can be kind of filled in a sense. So yeah, but no, I really, really loved seeing how Gadling's story, played out, and not just how he evolved himself, but also just seeing the perspective of one's immortality. Because I don't think everyone's going to be like Gadling, who's going to be very, very fascinated. And you think there would be one moment, of course, in that century where he was just at rock bottom, where he was going to admit to defeat, because you're just going to see everything. Like the thing with immortality is it's not just seeing your loved ones perish, and that hurts. But it's just seeing the world as well just turn to shit, really. I mean, I don't know what, and I'm not going to know what life is going to be like on this day in 100 years' time. But it could just be an absolute shit show. I mean, with the way that these last few years have been. But that's the thing. You just, I think for Gatling there is that intrigue, but also there does come the risk of I don't want to live on this planet anymore. So, but it's also very, very intriguing because humanity evolves, and in 100 years' time we don't know what life's going to be like. We don't know if in 200 years' time in real life people will be living outside of Earth, etc. We always talk about the future. Oh, we're going to colonize Mars, etc., and all of that. But there is such an intrigue in terms of this immortality. In terms of, okay, let's see how life is working out, I guess. So, yeah. But it's always a very fascinating thing. Personally, I do feel like that immortality is a bit of a curse because of the fact that you're going to see everyone you love die, etc. And there comes up. I mean, death is a staple of life, really. And without it, there is that emptiness when it comes to life because the end is inevitable. So, and it is a very, very because personally I am scared of when that day comes because I'm living everything right now, and then that's it, that's the end. There will be a moment where that's the end of the line, and I don't know what's going to be next. I don't know if my soul, like in terms of like what comes after death, it is a very like I've had thoughts about what is going to come next. Like, is there an afterlife? Is there just going to be eternal blackness? Is my soul going to get reincarnated in terms of another universe because the multiverse? But it is just a very, very, just in general, it's just a very, very, it's a concept that does kind of worry me. And I think with the way that they told the first half from Death's perspective, with how she is there for people from the beginning and the end as well, like especially at the end, and not just that though, but there is that idea of like what like Dream even said himself, why do people just fear I think the words were the sunless lands, which was really, really beautifully worded in my opinion. And it is very, very like it is very, very interesting how death is like the personification of death. You'd expect to fear that, but we saw throughout this episode there is such a grace when it comes to death, and you like the idea of having something comforting and something reassuring and a face of death is just something that is elegantly done, I feel, because you don't want to be fearful. You want that reassurance. You want that person to be there to be supportive, saying, okay, it's time and I'm going to take care of you. And I really like what they did here with Death. Like, she was such a very, very calming presence, but with the way that she was comforting people and with the way that people were reacting, it did kind of break me because it was really beautifully done. Because it is like Death is a very, very scary. Like it's very, very scary itself, but like I said, it was really beautifully done and tragic at the same time. There was this mixture of beauty and tragedy with Death's story, in my opinion, because you get to see how reassuring she is and how she's trying to ease people. She's trying to be there for those who've passed on, but you also see the people reacting and. Not just that though, but the people's spirits as well. Once they've left their bodies, you just reflect on who you that shell, I guess, of who you used to be, and it is kind of sad to see that well, that is where your physical story ends, I guess, on Earth, but also to see your loved ones just panic and so. Yeah, it was really, really beautifully done, and it's such a like especially with how Dream interacted with Death in this episode. It is just really, really great stuff in terms of like seeing how she carries this duty, this thing that is a constant really for her, with such I'd say calmness and such grace, because I don't think anyone on this planet could do what she does. It would I know if I don't think I could get past a week, bloody hell, if I had to keep appearing to people and try to ease them, because it is a very challenging endeavor, because you've got to take these people away when their time comes. So it was just really, really it was just a really, really powerful thing. And it's like as she said, like at the end of the day, we all stand alone really. And we do need that supportive guide, and that's why I exist. I don't want these people to be afraid. I don't want these people to be alone, because when it comes to death, we are being stripped from the people that we love so much, and we need that gentle guidance. We need someone to say it's going to be okay, and that's where death comes into factor. And it's, like I said, really beautifully done. So, but it also really pays well in terms of Dream himself, with that loneliness he feels. And at the end of the day, with the companionship of Gadling, he has that companionship. He has that connection. He has someone there. So yeah, it was, like I said, a really, really incredible episode in terms of how beautifully done it was. Especially the first part. The first part was just absolutely emotional stuff. And it was just the way of how beautifully done it was. Like, not just in terms of Death assuring these people, but just Death herself, really. She's not, the Grim Reaper or whatever, doesn't have the black cloak or the scary scythe, yeah. She's just a friendly face who wants to make sure that these people, she's got a duty, like with every one of the Endless, I guess. They've all got a duty. She even said that we've all got a duty, but I feel like there is such a challenge with Death's character, because this is the end of the line for these people, and you've got to have such a strong resolve to encounter these people who might be worried, like especially those who know, like, because there are some people who obviously don't know when their time is up. Like that guy at the beginning, he was like, when he eventually died, he was like, oh, that car was so close to hitting me. And then it's like, yeah, about that. But then there are some people who obviously, like, especially in the real world, like if you've got some kind of illness that you're not going to recover from, you know your time is up. And you like, I feel like it was really, really like, to add on to how emotional it was and how that this episode broke me, it was really emotional seeing these people say, I can't go yet, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And it is so hard to deny them. Because these people are worried for their life. Well, their lack of lives, I guess. But they are so worried. And like I said, you've got to have such a strong resolve to not just be there to say, yeah, your time is up, but also see their panic and deny them from, you know, making last minute adjustments to make sure that that their family can prosper, can be prepared, etc. So yeah, this was a really, really emotional episode. And like I said, with the way that it was constructed, I think the death part really, like, Death's perspective, I think that really sold me, just with how beautifully done it was, but tragic at the same time. But like I said, I think with Gadling and his story and how that really helped Dream's situation, I think that really enhanced this episode as well, especially when it comes to immortality itself and all of that. So great episode, my favorite so far. So yeah, brilliant episode. So I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time.